There are not many weeks where we have a bunch of Warhammer 40k stuff happen that doesn't include a big pre-order, but here we are. We not only have a new kill team to talk about, but we have new Warhammer merch to look at. And as someone who has to make their own Warhammer merch because they're not enthused with everything that Games Workshop puts out, I'm really excited for this. But I'm HoodGuard, and this is your Monday Warhammer wrap-up. Let's get into it.
The Emperor's light is my torch! Death to the enemy! We shall be the end of you! Feel the might of the Rakshas! For the Emperor!
Alright, our first item on the docket is for all of you Tau fans. It's been over 4 years since the last Farsight book, Farsight Empire of Lies, came out that was by Phil Kelly. But earlier this week we got an announcement that there is a third Farsight book coming called Farsight Blade of Truth. And this book is going to cover the ambiguous time between Farsight's self-imposed exile and his return to the second Agrellan campaign. After fighting Chaos Demons in Empire of Lies, he is back in Sword of Truth to fight against Tyranids attacking Viorlos. With the release of Shadow Sun a couple of years ago, and most recently the Elemental Council, I'm glad that we're still continuing to get more Tau stuff, especially with the story moving forward in the 42nd millennium. Alright, next up, as always, is Heresy Thursday. We had 3 to 4 weeks of really cool Adeptus Mechanicus stuff coming from Horus Heresy, but we're back with Space Marines this week. The newest Horus Heresy model will be the Moritat Prime of the Raven Guard, Kaedes Nex. He was a murderer that was given a second chance by a young Corvus in their prison on Lycaeus. He was one of the older people to be inducted into the Legion and has never really meshed with the rest of his brothers. He is Corvus's assassin, and his drip definitely matches that role. I love the big Roman numeral 19 belt buckle and all the different Raven skulls that are on his armor. It's ostentatious in a way that only the Raven Guard could accomplish. For all my Shattered Legions people out there, make sure to pay attention for when this model goes up for pre-order. Alright, let's talk about the big Killteam announcement. This past week, it was revealed that a new box was coming to Killteam that features 2 new kill teams: the Sanctifiers of the Ecclesiarchy and the Goremongers of Khorne. This box will pit 2 base human factions against each other. The Sanctifiers are a band of ecclesiarchal militiamen, and I thought this was a super fascinating choice. Ever since the kind of pseudo-retcon around men being able to fight for the Ecclesiarchy, they've slowly been pushing these types of narratives into all aspects of Warhammer 40k. They almost kind of work like Trench Pilgrims in Trench Crusade. If you get the calling to go and fight for your god, you're welcome to do so. There's also quite a bit of variation amongst the units. You have Confessors and Cherubs and Missionaries and even a Death Cult Assassin. Though that last one, the Death Cult Assassin, I'm not super enthused with its design. And opposing them are the Goremongers, 8 Servants of Khorne. They are apparently the most lucid of Khorne's followers and have had their legs cybernetically augmented. Now, unlike the Sanctifiers, these models all relatively look the same with different weapon variations. But what I do like about them is all the different poses and them jumping off of walls and pillars. It almost reminds me of the same poses that the Vespid Stingwings had. The box called Blood and Zeal will come with only 1 piece of terrain, a massive Imperial Shrine statue. It'll also come with the Blood and Zeal dossier, the data cards, and a token sheet. No date yet on its release, but I anticipate it coming out in the next month or so. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it, but I do have a vision in my mind of creating a diorama of Frater Matthew and Gilliman using some of those ecclesiarchal pieces. Alright, ending us out today is going to be a huge mess of new merch coming from Games Workshop. All of this stuff is made by officially licensed companies that work with Games Workshop, so we'll go over each one of them and what they've released for 40k. First up, and a lot of you have heard of them before, is Joy Toy. They make larger action-size renditions of a ton of different Warhammer characters. You got Constantine Valdor, you got Rogel Dorn, you have a slew of Space Marines. But we are getting 3 new ones from Joy Toy, including the Primarch Angron. This is of course based on his 40k model, and it looks very close to it. Alongside Angron are 2 Space Marine figures. One indicates that they've been listening to the community and have given us just a gray Space Marine that you yourself can paint. And the other is one of their few 30k models, Dominion Zephon of the Blood Angels. These are great centerpieces and shelf pieces, and now you can paint your own Space Marine however you want. And all of the figures are up for pre-order on Joy Toys site right now. The next thing that's coming merch-wise is another coffee table lore book. We just got the DK Ultimate Guide to Warhammer 40,000, and they are giving us 2 more of these books. One is going to be all about the art from Warhammer 40,000 video games. From Space Marine 2 to Total War to Rogue Trader to even all the way back to Dawn of War, this book will feature art from across the Warhammer spectrum. And paired with that will be a character encyclopedia in the same vein as the DK Ultimate Guide. It will use models, including updated ones, to tell you about all the different characters and the lore behind them. And just like Joy Toy, these books are up for pre-order on DK's site right now. If you're a fan of tabletop role-playing games, this next one's for you. There are a few Warhammer-related TTRPGs out there, but one of the most popular ones, and one that continues to get development, is Wrath and Glory by Cubicle 7. I'm running a campaign in the system right now, and it is such a cool game. Well, it's just announced in the same article as the merch that Cubicle 7 is coming out with a Warhammer Heresy tabletop role-playing game. Now, unlike Wrath and Glory, where you can basically be any type of character in the game, this is going to focus on the legionaries of the Horus Heresy. You play a consul of whatever legion you choose and open up right at the start of the Istvan Betrayal. This is something I'm definitely going to keep an eye on, and I wanted you all to know about it because it surprises me every time that there are so many people who don't know about Warhammer TTRPGs. This game, along with a Warhammer The Old World role-playing game, will come out sometime in spring 2026. That was a lot of gaming and painting stuff, but what about wearable merch? Well, Games Workshop has partnered with Merchoid to create jerseys for all the different Space Marine chapters. They're starting with first founding chapters for their first 5 designs, and we'll have jerseys for the Space Wolves, the Blood Angels, the Dark Angels, the Ultramarines, and the White Scars. I'm a little disappointed that there's no Salamanders, but I do enjoy the fact that they're putting more effort into their wearable merch. The reason I started making these hoodies in the first place is because I didn't enjoy the merch that was already available to us through Games Workshop. It was always really loud and looked like something a high schooler would wear. But these jerseys are really cool and they have a really nice, clean design. And like almost everything else on this list, they're also up for pre-order right now. And lastly, just a couple of notes. Tomy, the Warhammer plushie company, is coming out with a 3rd wave of their plushies. And the company Wicked Brick, that makes miniature cases, has come out with a 3-tiered display stand for all of your miniature display needs. Tomy will be releasing their new plushies throughout the year, and you can go and pick up Wicked Brick stuff right now. But alright my friends, that's going to about do it for today. Thank you guys always for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.